During Jesus' earthly ministry, the biggest threat or the biggest challenge or obstacle to his ministry was tradition. For the teachings of Jesus were viewed by the Jews, especially the Pharisees. They viewed Jesus' teachings as a direct threat to the traditions of their forefathers. And yet the Jews were not ready to let go what they were accustomed to, what identified them, the things that were handed over to them by their forefathers as tradition from generation to generation. Now, tradition is the link between the past and the future. It is tradition that links you to the past. It is tradition that is the connection between the past and the future. And many people seem not to be willing to break this link between the past and the future. Even as we see in the Bible, which became a threat to the ministry of Jesus. Anyone who is not ready, anyone who is not ready to break certain traditions of the forefathers, he or she is not ready to become a disciple. Now, if you want to become a disciple of Jesus, you must ready yourself. You must get ready to break certain traditions of the forefathers. You cannot be a disciple of Jesus without breaking certain traditions of the forefathers. If you look at the book of Matthew chapter 15, at one time the Pharisees came from Jerusalem and they came to Jesus. And they said, Jesus, why do your disciples, mark this, why do your disciples break the traditions of the forefathers? For they eat without washing their hands. And in response, Jesus said, why do you transgress the commandments of God for the sake of the traditions or for the sake of your traditions? You see, so Jesus is explaining the battle between tradition and the word of God. So unless you are ready to break certain traditions, then you are not ready to become a disciple. And if you read verse 6, Jesus said, for the sake of your tradition, you are making the word of God of none effect. So what it means is when you hold on to tradition, you are nullifying the word of God. You are making the word of God of none effect. Just as tradition was an obstacle in the ministry of Jesus or in the reception of the gospel, so it is also today. Tradition is a threat. Tradition is an obstacle to the reception of the gospel. Now, many people are not ready to break traditions. Many people are not ready to free themselves from the things handed over to them by their forefathers, no matter how much negative the traditions are to their lives. Now, in many countries in Africa, or let me say many traditions, have assumed the law status. And because of that, many Christians or many people have found themselves in the shackle of tradition. Why? Because they are afraid to break the law, the traditional law, for fear of being punished. So no one dares to cross path with tradition because tradition has assumed a law status. And because of that, anyone that breaks the law will be punished. So people are now caught in between. Many Christians are balancing between tradition and Christianity. Many people are not ready to break free from tradition. Thus, they are compromising the word of God and making it of none effect.